Thanks to Bakuretsu for sponsoring today's video. Hey guys, welcome back. So you know those YouTube videos where they eat like $5 ramen and then they eat like $500 ramen and then they compare it? I thought we could do a very similar thing today, but instead do anime figures. And what best anime figure to do that with than with Rem? Literally like the most popular character that everyone makes figures of. And what better type of figure than bunny figures, which is also an extremely popular category of figures. Oh, and Ram. Yeah, we'll throw Ram in too, like always, as an afterthought. Anyway, yes, basically I have some Rem and Ram bunny figures. I have some prize figures on the cheaper side, and I just got some B styles in. So let's unbox the two types and we can kind of compare them. See if it's worth paying an obscene amount of money for quarter scale bunnies. It probably isn't, but I'm not ready to hear that. So let's start out on the more affordable, cheaper side of things, where we have these two prize figures of Rem and Ram in bunny suits. So both of these are manufactured by FuRyu. They're a very popular prize figure manufacturer. Prize figure generally means that people win them from UFO catchers. So there's no retail price for prize figures, it's just kind of the market price. So it kind of depends on how in demand they are, but they could go for anywhere from like 500 yen to like 3,000 yen for a more expensive one. I got these two for 35 Australian each, which is about 25 US dollars, which is fairly standard for Western sites that sell prize figures. That's a fairly standard price. So these two are actually a part of FuRyu's BiCute Bunnies line, which I did talk about in a previous video, but I'm such a fan of this line because one of the best gimmicks of the bigger, more expensive bunnies is that they use like real tights. And BiCute Bunnies just kind of does that for prize figures, which is awesome. My big gripe of the line though is that they've only done figures for 4 characters. It's Miku, Rem, Ram, and Sonoko. And I kind of wish they'd branch out a little more, apart from just redoing those 4 characters over and over again. So today I've got the Rem and the Ram in the black suit. There is also a white suit version of these figures, and there's also a China dress bunny version, which I find is so funny because they literally probably went, oh, you know, what are the trending figure things? Oh, China dress figures, bunny figures, okay, mash them up, we'll make a ton of money. Even though, like, why? Like, why is that a thing? A China dress bunny? I guess it do look pretty cute, I guess. Anyway, let's actually open these ladies. So we get a little black base with some gold detailing on it. Alright, let's put Rem onto her base. Alright, first off we have Rem. Let me get Ram out as well. So Ram has the same base. Are there any solid Ram fans out there? Like, you know, let me know if you're like a massive Ram fan. Alright, I've got them open, and like first impressions, they are very cute. They look very cute together, and I'm very impressed with the quality. So I took a look online at what some people were saying about these figures, and a lot of people didn't like a certain promo picture where it looked like Rem's thigh gap was like, I don't know, what's something that's really wide? Just wide, it was big, a big thigh gap. God, what a waste of time I am. Anyway, and like in person, it is a little wide. It's wider than Ram's, but it's probably not something I would have noticed myself. And the other thing that people commented on, and I can kind of attest to it now, is that the seam lines on the back of the tights are really nice and neat. That was one of the biggest issues from when I looked at BiCute Bunnies about a year ago, was the seam line was messy. But these are really nice and neat. Yes, they're a little thick for the scale of the figure, but like not a deal breaker. Now, there are quite a few imperfections on these figures in terms of a little scuffs or a little bit of paint flaw. I think that's always to be expected for prize figures where quality control isn't as critical, but I can kind of forgive all those flaws, and I'm still really impressed with the sculpt. Like, there are a lot of crease lines in the bunny suit that they sculpted in, a little zipper in the back, the folds in the ears, all of the little cuffs on their like the little neck thing and the arm thing. I'm very impressed with the detail that they crammed in. In terms of shading and coloring, tactically, they only really shaded the hair and they left everything kind of one color, which is fine. And I think it was quite clever to make the bunny suit like a glossy black. Then you don't need to shade anything. It just kind of looks fine as it is. I also think they nailed just kind of the face and personality of the two girls. I'm really happy with this. I think the value is there, and I would gladly pay what I paid for these two girls again. Really solid. I only ask that they make BiCute bunnies for other characters. All right, now let's move to the expensive side of things, you know, the more sophisticated side of things. Ugh, cringe. So when we talk about expensive bunny figures, we really just mean freeing. So freeing pumps out a ton of quarter-scale B-style bunny girl figures for all sorts of anime characters. I think there's an unreal amount of characters that they've done now, and they're notoriously quite expensive, and the price tags of these figures have just been going up as well. So in terms of Rem and Ram, Freeing have actually released 3 different iterations. So this was the first set of bunny figures they released. The girls retailed for 23,000 yen each. Unfortunately, these are very, very expensive now in the aftermarket. So if you go to like Solaris, Rem herself alone goes for 54,000 yen. And on Yahoo Japan auctions, I think she averages around kind of the high 20,000 yens to the low 30s. So she's very expensive. I love these two. I think they look adorable, but they're too expensive for me, and I just never justify buying the 2 of them. So then Freeing followed up with standing versions of Rem and Ram. These retail for 25,000 yen. Note that they've already gone up in price a little. And I think these are cute, but I never ended up getting them just because I thought they looked a little awkward. Like, I just feel like they weren't quite standing up straight. Like they had to make them just a little bit shorter to make the box the right size or something. And I wasn't too in love with the pose and the expressions of either bunny. And it looks like general consensus agrees because the Rem has come down in price since. She's now 19,000 yen on Yahoo Japan auction, so like 6,000 yen cheaper than retail price. And lastly, Freeing released a bare leg version of the kneeling version of their bunnies, and these retailed for 23,000 yen, which is the same price as the tights version, even though we're getting the same thing, but with less. So that goes to show how bunny figures have just gone up in price. And these are actually the ones that I got. So I got these 2 for a little less than 20,000 yen each. And honestly, I feel like a bloody idiot because now they go for like bargain bin, dude. They're like 13 to like 16,000 yen on Yahoo Japan auctions. They've already tanked. They've gone down, what, 6,000 or 7,000 yen in price. So I feel like a clown. So maybe that's a trend with like general bare leg bunnies. I think maybe people just don't find them as appealing. Kind of what's the point if you don't get the whole tights gimmick? Yeah, this is the first bare leg bunny I decided to pre-order. I just knew that I would never pay the price, the aftermarket price for the original Rem and Ram. And I do really like this version of them. I like all the maid outfit details to their bunny suit, but I definitely should have waited. Maybe general tip is to not pre-order bare leg bunnies and just get them after they come out, because chances are they'll come down in price. Maybe though, I don't know. Anyway, let's get these more expensive bunnies opened up. So I just got Rem out of her box and Rem does look adorable, but immediately I'm like, something's missing. It's the tights, they're missing. Because I'm used to holding a bunny figure and feeling the tights, and now it's just like kind of bare leg. I am finding myself missing the tights. And the other thing about this figure that I didn't realize is that the head, you can actually move it around. I think this might be because you can kind of pose them together, in which case you'd rotate the head a little, maybe? I've never seen them do that on a freeing bunny before. Alright, and now I've got Ram out as well. So the reason I was attracted to these bunnies is I love how they pulled in the elements from Rem and Ram's maid outfits into the bunny suit. I love the little apron, all of the little cuffs and the frills. I think it's a great nod to the character design and a great way to transform it into a bunny. I also love that they threw in an extra handpiece so that you can display the two of them kneeling together. That is so cute and adorable. I like how they did the sculpt for the bangs and how you can actually see through to the eyes behind them, but both of them have this fairly nasty seam line on the back of their head. There's a fair bit of nice shading on the figure too, like on the hair, the skin, and on all of the white fabric. Another small gripe I have with these two ladies is I think that their ears kind of look silly. I don't know why they're so kind of stumpy and triangular. I kind of like the longer, more traditional bunny shape, but maybe that's just me. I'm happy with these two. They are exactly what I expected them to be. I'm not really surprised. This is pretty much what I was expecting. I do miss the tights. Like, I do think the tights version is better. And I do feel a little bit like, oh, I wish I didn't pay as much as I did, because now they're like way cheaper. So apart from spending more money than I really needed to on them, I am happy with these two as well. So I guess the question now is, was the more expensive bunny figure worth it, or should you just stick to the BiCute bunny prize figures? The longer I'm sitting here looking at the sculpt differences between this Rem and this Rem, the more insane it is to me that this was like 10 times the price of this retail, right? Assuming this was 20,000 yen and this was like 2,000 yen. Like, it's nuts. In terms of the sculpting for the kind of collar and armbands, I'd say they're like fairly similar. Like, the prize figure one is just as good as the scale, and like it doesn't have as many details, like all of the frills, the apron, the bow in the back, but it doesn't feel like the sculpt is like 10 times better on this than this. I think really what you're paying for the big quarter scale is the fact that it's a quarter scale. And it kind of is a lot bigger. I really like how the BiCute bunny ones have an ear that's flopped down on the same side where their bangs cover their eyes. That's just like a really cute idea in detail, and you don't see that in the freeing ones as much. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think like the winners of this comparison should be the cheaper prize figures, because now that they've fixed that tights issue and I think the sculpting is getting better, like how much it costs for this is seemingly more absurd. Like, and I can't get over how the prices for freeing bunnies are just going up, they're going higher, and the quality of these are getting better. Like, as time goes by, it's harder to justify getting this than this, because really at the end of the day, the only thing this like consistently does better than the prize figure is that the scale is more impressive and the quality control is better. So if you're willing to put up with a few defects on the figure and you're not really that interested in getting a quarter scale, I'd just buy this, to be honest. I think these are really cute, they're great bang for your buck, and every time I unbox a BiCute bunny, I'm just so impressed. I actually saw a few comments online expressing kind of the same sentiment of like, why buy the $200 freeing bunny when you can get this for like 20 bucks? And I kind of agree. Will I stop buying quarter scale bunnies? Probably not, because I do quite like the bigness. I do quite like how big they are, so I think you know, I'm a bit of a contradiction to myself. But anyway, that's all I had to really say about the two sets. Really curious what you guys think, whether you would go for the freeing set or the BiCute bunnies. Like, what's better value? What matters to you? But before I sign off, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. BiCute. BiCute is a clothing brand that specializes in minimalist anime-inspired streetwear. They have so many great designs, including this new Ara Ara design that I'm wearing, and this Yuru Camp hoodie, which is now one of my favorite pieces of clothing ever. All of their designs are fashionable and really embody the theme of the anime they're based on, while remaining subtle. All of their shirts are made using a premium organic cotton and recycled polyester blend, making all of their shirts really soft, smooth, and eco-friendly as well. You can use the code Daijoububu for $3 off your order, and BiCute will ship internationally as well. So check out the link in the description below if you're interested to browse their designs and also support the channel at the same time. Thanks again to BiCute for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do have a Patreon linked in the description below if you're interested in some exclusive content. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next one. Hope you have a good week. Bye-bye! Hey everyone, so the Patreon has been up for a few days now and I'm so blown away by the response. Thank you guys so much to everyone who has joined. A big shout out to Eduardo, Mike, and Stephanie, along with everyone on the screen. Thank you guys so much, really, from the bottom of my heart.